Harish Damodaran, the big debate between Devendra Sharma on the one side and the likes of Professor Ashok Gulati on the other is whether a minimum support price can be legally mandated, whether this would work to the advantage of the farmers, or could it end up harming farmers more because a certain part of the produce which is beyond what the market requires simply then nobody touches because the price isn't coming down, they just leave it, and farmers, Professor Gulati argues, could end up worse off. You study Indian farming closely. Where do you come out on this critical question? Harish Damodaran.
Yeah, see, Rahul, we should approach this this issue a little openly, and eschew extreme ideological positions, I think your surveys very clearly shows that this thing of guaranteeing MSP has some kind of traction among a majority of farmers in the country. Okay, I'm not surprised about it. Okay, and I am principally for some kind of a price assurance to farmers. Okay, and I don't and let's not view it from an ideological lens at all. Okay, now the thing is, how do we give this MSP? Certainly, I mean, farmers should not expect that all their quinoa and wheat and everything is going to be procured by the government. That's not possible. Okay, and the second route also, forcing the trader to pay, even that's not ruled out. Okay, I think the third option is definitely worth exploring, which is basically the government paying the price difference between the market clearing price and the MSP. Let farmers sell at whatever the price, whatever is the going market rate. And I think the government can pay the price difference. I'll tell you why this is worth exploring. Number one, what it will do is, see, today your entire agricultural trade is cash-based. Okay? The whole thing is entirely based on cash transactions. Okay? If you have a situation where every transaction can be recorded, okay, then we are moving towards some kind of a formalization of the farm trade. Okay, and suppose the farmer feels that I will be paid the price difference. The farmer will insist on a receipt from the buyer. Okay, and there are I think and this actually is very compatible with the government's own digitization aims, removing black money and those kind of things. We should move to a situation where every transaction is monitored. Okay, every transaction I know how much the farmer has sold at what price, and you can pay the price difference, and according to me, the other advantage of this particular system is this should be implemented by the states. Okay, if Bihar feels that its maize farmers should get the MSP, then let it take the pains, set up the infrastructure. You have to see to it that every trade is recorded. You have to take the pains for that. I think we should move to this kind of a system.
So let me get Ashok Gulati to respond. I'll explain in one sentence what Harish Damodaran is saying. He's saying, let's imagine that you...
Add one more. I'll just add one more thing.
Yes.
I'll just add one more thing, Rahul. I want to add just one more thing.
Go on.
The other advantage of this thing is we'll know exactly what is our production. What is our production? We have absolutely no idea. Government gives all kinds of data on wheat production. But now when we know how much is getting sold, and this doesn't have to be sold in a mandi. Basically you need a receipt. You generate receipts. Every farmer will generate a receipt, and just like you have the GST portal today, right? I mean, today every buyer insists that the supplier pays the GST. So a similar thing you can have, and according to me, you'll open up a lot of possibilities. So which is why I'm saying we should eschew extreme ideological positions, saying that this goes against free market, and on the other hand saying that farmers are dying. I think that's what we should look at.
Okay, let Ashok Gulati respond to this, and I'll take a moment to explain to our viewers the premise of the argument. Let's say that the MSP is set at 100 rupees. A certain part of the produce will get sold at 100. Some of it will not sell because the market thinks the price is only 80. So Harish Damodaran is arguing that the government will not need to pay 100. It will only need to pay the difference between 100 and 80 because 80 is where the market consumes and picks up whatever the farmer has to offer. So the government only then needs to spend 20, which may be more palatable than the government having to spend 100. He argues that this may be a potential solution. Ashok Gulati, do you concur?
Conceptually, this scheme of price deficiency payment has been tried in a number of countries. Even in India, we tried, and Ramesh knows that very well, in Madhya Pradesh, in one season, and we gave it up after that. Reason, to the best of my understanding, our traders are much smarter. If the market was clearing at 80, and if they know that the government is going to give the difference between MSP and market price, that 20, instead of 80, the price will drop to 60 and 70. So because they say, oh, government will give you all the deficiency, so I'm ready to give you a receipt at 60. So they will play the game much better than the government can handle, and the fisc will blow out immediately on that. So we have to find a comparative price which cannot be tinkered by these traders.
It's fascinating that you say this, because the first time Harish Damodaran mentioned this to me, instinctively I told him exactly the same thing. That the traders, like they did during demonetization, will find a way of gaming the system, that they will make it seem as if the price is much lower than the actual price, so that they can actually get more out of the government. They could also potentially do a game with the farmers where they say, okay, we'll pay you this much, you show this much, whatever is left, you take some part of it, I take some part. So there's so many ways, and we've already seen this Indian jugaad during demonetization. So it's not, I'm not being disrespectful to anyone here, but Harish Damodaran, that is just the reality of how Indian trade happens. They'll find a way of gaming the system and just queuing the proposal that you've just presented. Respond to Ashok Gulati, Harish Damodaran.
See, it's like this. You can have a combination of both procurement and price deficiency. Like for example, say, let us assume, say, the minimum support price of, say, bajra is, say, 2,200. Okay, and the ruling market price is, say, 2,100. So the government can procure a little, and automatically the prices will go above the MSP. But yes, if the price is say 1,600 or something, then you need to pay the price deficiency. But I'm not convinced that it's so easy to rig the whole market. Okay, we have the entire country which is a market, right? I mean, soybean is there, you know, and ultimately even a trader has to buy, has to stock up, you know. So it's not as easy that, you know, I can just push down the prices. So, and I don't agree that the Bhavantar was a failure. I mean, just with a single season, how can you come out with a conclusion? It's like for example, GST. You know, look, everybody knows that the GST wasn't, I mean, perfect when it started off. You know, so which is why I'm saying, you know, let's approach this with an open mind. You know?
Ashok Gulati, respond to that, because GST had initial problems doesn't mean you finish off GST, you stay invested in, you try and tweak and fix the system.
You know, I wish it can be fixed like that, but I believe more in the smartness of the traders than the administration and governance of the government. And I'm sure traders will make the best of it. But Harish said something interesting, and that's where I think I want to put my little weight there. And he said, the government, where the prices go down and a bit of procurement government can do and try to push the market prices a little bit up. That's the idea of a price stabilization fund, that you have 20,000, 25,000 crores to do these operations, and start with the Bihar. Eastern India is all ready for it.